if you're anything like me, you have watched hours and hours and hours of manifestation content. The law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of detachment, the law of all these different laws. But you still feel like you might have seen some small glimmers happen, some small things manifest, where you're like, wow, okay, this stuff actually works. But then with the thing that you actually want, doesn't work. And a lot of times when you try to manifest the thing that you want, the exact opposite manifests. Let's talk about why. Because this video is going to be a little bit different. This video is not going to walk you through the law of assumption, the law of attraction, the law of detachment. That doesn't mean that these things aren't truth. It doesn't mean that these things don't apply. It's something that I'm still discovering for myself, still figuring out for myself. But at the same time, you got to understand that not everything is, and I got to merge lanes here, so bear with me. Thank you, sir. Letting me through. In case you're new here, I make at least a 10-minute YouTube video every single day. And sometimes it'll be in the car, sometimes it'll be me walking around the neighborhood, sometimes it'll be me sitting on the bed, sometimes it'll be me in the dining room. It just depends where you catch me and where the inspiration comes. But going back into it, manifestation, right? What is my view on manifestation and my experience with it? Does it work? Do these laws apply? And I already touched on it a little bit. But for me, what's most important beyond all of the different laws, all of the different concepts, all of the different beliefs that you need to hold, all the different techniques that you might hear. I mean, I've done them all. Not all of them. Not all of them, but I've been down the rabbit hole. Perfect example right here. I'm a professional basketball player. Just got done with my 7th year playing professionally. I'm going into my 8th year now. Haven't decided yet where I'm going to be playing next year. That's going to be a major thing here in these next weeks. I'm excited for that. Excited to see where I end up. But in my 2nd year, I was in the NBA draft. For my non-basketball fans, the NBA draft is basically the main way that you get selected to play in the NBA. So it was a big deal for me. Major dream. But there were also some very high stakes. Because of the path that I took after high school, I was only allowed one shot at the NBA draft. I couldn't take my name out. I didn't even put my name in. I was automatically entered, automatically eligible for this NBA draft. Now, my plan was, either way, because it was my dream, to test the waters and see, hey, NBA draft, is it possible? Me and my family, we were saying, hey, it's probably going to be unlikely that you get drafted this year, but we can see. Next thing I know, this is my one shot at it. My one shot at my big dream that I had been thinking about and visualizing and trying to manifest since I was a little kid. So, COVID happens, right? It really threw off this entire process. I couldn't work out for any teams. I was in contact with some scouts, but nothing really came together. Nothing really clicked to where I could really build a profile, build a status to get drafted in that year. 2020 NBA draft. It also happened much later due to COVID, right? So, it's October. I've already signed to play in Germany for that season because the season in Germany already started. Preseason started, and I thought, hey, this would be a good opportunity for me to maybe up my stock, up my status in the draft. Playing in the first league in Germany, maybe I can show some things that I didn't get to show in the season before. That's a story for another day, how that went. But I'm going to fast forward to the night of the NBA draft. I'm in Germany, and I'm going to tell you, my gut told me, Anthony, your name is not going to be called in the NBA draft. But I was so attached to this moment, this dream, this vision, that I didn't let go of that until I wasn't going to let go of it until I didn't hear my name called. And I was halfway convinced that maybe somebody in the background was working and I just didn't see it, and it was gonna happen for me. And this story has a point to it because it illustrates exactly where people go wrong with this. Because they focus on the techniques, they focus on the methods, they focus on the laws, the different rules and the different things. But there's one thing that they miss in all of it. And it's the same thing that I missed. So keep watching. I'm coming to a point. And you're sitting here like, no, I'm invested in the NBA draft story now. Like, no, okay. This all connects. So keep that in mind. I'm sitting there. It's the night before the NBA draft, or the night of the NBA draft, but I'm ahead, and I have practice the next morning. And my grandmother had given me a chocolate bar, and on it in German it said Wunscherfüller, which means basically wish fulfiller. And there was a dandelion on it, with the dandelion seeds kind of flying off of it. I sat there and I visualized myself getting drafted. I visualized myself playing in the NBA. I visualized all these different things. I prayed that I would get drafted. And I bargained with God, basically saying, hey, look, if you make this happen for me, I'll be on best behavior. I'll know this is real. I know all of these things. And to kind of seal that, I ate the entire chocolate bar. Now this is a chocolate bar. I mean, it was probably the size of my hand. I ate the whole chocolate bar. And I legitimately thought that decision might give me a chance to get drafted. I wake up the next morning, I check my phone, and I look through all 60 names. My name was not on the list. I didn't get drafted. I didn't have a text from my dad saying, hey, son, I talked to a guy, I met this guy, and we made it happen. Nothing from my agent. Nothing. It was just another day. And nobody else would have known what just happened. That dream that I had worked so many years for, that I had gotten up early in the morning before school to work on and work for and help become reality. Nobody who saw me at the grocery store that day knew what was happening. And I didn't know what happened. But what did happen? What was the reason that I didn't get drafted? Well, I'm going to tell you. Of course, you can look at the basketball things. You can look at my statistics. You can look at all that different stuff. But what influences the statistics? What influences that? Because at the end of the day, right, how you play on the court, that's connected to something, right? That's not just a luck of the draw. I'm not just rolling the dice. That's connected to something. And that is identity. Identity. What is identity? Identity is who you show up as every single day. Not just when you decide you want something. Not just when the NBA draft is rolling around. Who do you show up as every single day? So I want you to think about your goal. Just take a second. I'm not going to talk. Close your eyes if you have to. I'm going to keep my eyes open. I'm going to keep them on the road. But think about that goal. See yourself achieving it. You got it? Maybe it's blurry for you. Maybe it's hard for you to visualize. That's okay. But you know what it is. If you can't see it, you can feel it. And you really want this thing. Just like I really wanted the NBA draft. But then I want you to take a step further. What is your gut telling you? Because if you remember my story, my gut was telling me that I was not going to be selected. But that's not even going deep enough. Because my gut was telling me, Anthony, you're not good enough to play in the NBA. Every time I questioned my status of being drafted, every time I thought about, is this going to happen? I was telling myself, Anthony, you're not good enough to play in the NBA. You're not good enough to be selected. That's for the other players. That's for the other guys who are sure enough about themselves. You're sitting here questioning. You're sitting here doubting. The NBA, that's not for you. Now that's me reflecting on this in real time too, right? I've never really sat and spoken this out like this. So, yeah, that's what this series is about. And I'm not done yet. This might be the longest video that I've ever made. And I'm okay with that because I need this. And you might need it too. So we're both gonna go through this here. I'm not even gonna waste your time with any like, hey, subscribe to stick around for more moments like this, because I feel like it takes away from the moment. I realized that I wasn't good enough. Not from an ability standpoint, because I believed I had the ability to be able to play at the highest level. But I didn't believe I was the type of guy the NBA would select. That's why I questioned so much. The questioning wasn't my outer reality, as they like to say, with the manifestation videos. It wasn't the outer reality. It was what was happening inside. It was my identity. It was who I was being every single day. And that was somebody who was nervous about his situation, nervous about not getting his dream. Why is that guy nervous about not getting his dream? Why did I eat that entire chocolate bar? Because I didn't feel like I was worthy of playing in the NBA, being selected, being one of the top players in the world, being somebody who got the respect that he deserved, being somebody who everybody looked at and said, yeah, man, he's really good. He doesn't just say he's really good, he is really good. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he talks about it enough, so I'm going to tell you how good I think he is. I didn't believe I was worthy of that. So what happened in my life? What happened in my basketball career? I got pushed down. And I started to feel like that's what I deserved. I started to feel like that's all that was ever going to happen. I started to feel like I was never going to get the recognition that I had worked for. Now, I want to make one thing clear. With the game of basketball, it's always been about the love of the game and enjoying it. But a part of that enjoyment for me is sharing that with others. When I think back to my fondest memories playing the game of basketball, one of the big ones is me beating my dad for the first time. Why is that special? Not because I won a game of one-on-one. I've won plenty of one-on-one games since then. I got to share a major milestone with my dad, the person who inspired me to play the game. So people can sit here and say, do it for yourself, do it for yourself. We weren't put on this earth by ourselves. We were put on this earth with other people for a reason. I'll be the first one to say, hey, you got to be your own priority. You have to write your story. But your story involves so many other characters. And it's okay to recognize that. I want my dad to be proud of me. I don't want him to be proud of me more than I want to be proud of me. But I do want him to be proud of me. I do want him to say, hey, son, the work paid off. hey son, you're doing it. And he's not the only one I want to say that. So looking back at this identity thing, right? Who are you being? I thought eating the chocolate bar was getting me closer to the NBA. Guess what? It put me further. Because me feeling like I had to eat a chocolate bar and eat and basically activate a magic potion to get to the NBA was me embodying an identity that said, I can't make it there. I'm not worthy. So I have to eat this bar of chocolate and hope and pray. There's nothing wrong with praying. There's nothing wrong with going to God. But if you're begging, when you're hoping, when you're wishing, it said wish fulfiller. The NBA became a wish. The guys who got drafted, it was a goal. It was expected. And you might have people in your life saying, hey, it's arrogant to expect great things to happen for you. But I want you to really be honest, and these might be people that you love and love you. But you need to take a look and say, where are they? What dreams have they made real? Do they have regrets in their lives? Have they limited themselves like you know you're limiting yourself? Doesn't mean that you should value them any less. Because like I said, your success is going to be their success. But you're not going to get there by being who you've always been. That's going to keep you right where you're at. Me being somebody who hoped and wished to make it to the NBA did not put me there. And I'm still not there. I'm still working through things. I'm still figuring this thing out. And I might never make the NBA. But I do know that I will have exhausted every option of becoming the greatest basketball player that I can be. And if the NBA is in the cards, then I know I'll make it there. If it's not, then I know I'll be exactly where I need to be. But I still need to work on my identity. I need to be somebody who can expect great things to happen for him, can expect to get the recognition that he deserves. And I encourage you to do the same. I want you to go back to that goal, that vision that you came up with, the first thing that popped into your mind. And I want you to think about, are you expecting it to work out for you? Or deep down in your gut, do you feel like it's running away from you? Do you feel like you're not worthy of it? Do you feel like you're not somebody who ends up with that? And sometimes it's just a quick shift. Other times, it's a day-by-day process to become that person. But you can take the first step today. I know I'm going to think about this a little bit more once I finish this video and I get home. I'm going to go watch Rocky with my dad first. But it's going to be in the back of my mind. Who do I need to be to get the recognition that I feel like I haven't gotten yet in my career? And I've been blessed to play the game professionally. And I'm still growing. I'm still expanding with this. That's where the change happens. That's where the manifestation comes in. It's not the chocolate bar. All the different laws, all the different techniques, they work for the people it works for. They work because it influences their identity. These people change who they're being. And if you change who you are, your actions are going to change. And if your actions change, what you see happening around you is going to change. If I would have expected to be in the NBA, I would have been a lot more prepared for that draft process. I would have maybe already known that this situation, for me, that it was going to be a one and done type of deal, that I was only going to get one shot at the draft. I would have known who I was up against. I would have known what positions I needed to put myself in. I would have maybe had more contacts. I would have taken the steps. Instead of waiting on the NBA to come to me, I would have went to the NBA. That's identity. Because when you know you deserve something, when you know you're the person who belongs wherever it is, with whatever it is, you don't wait for it to come to you. You take the steps, even though it might look like it's running away from you. Even though the people around you say you're crazy for going for that. You take the steps toward it. And once you start moving toward it, as the person who belongs there, that thing seems like it starts turning around. Instead of running away from you, it runs towards you. And I've seen that happen in many other things. One example is the beautiful lady holding this camera. Her arm's probably getting tired from holding this thing. There were many years where I was single. Many years where I was looking up in the sky wondering, what is going on? Why can I not find this person who matches me? And I made some shifts in who I was being and what I was doing. And all of a sudden, it clicked. You can't make it up. If you want me to tell that story, I'll tell that story. But not today. Today, it's my NBA draft story day. I got plenty of stories. I love sharing stories with you. Like I said, I'll be here every day. I hope you'll join me. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you took something from this, because I know that manifestation tube, that is something where that is a side of the internet, a side of YouTube that can really take away a lot of your time. So hopefully this could breathe some fresh air into you, give you a new perspective. And like I said, it was raw and personal for me to even share this with you. I went to a level that I didn't even know was there. It's something now I have to unpack it. I have to journal about this now. So thank you for that and helping me on my own journey. That's why I love the fact that I listened to my intuition and made this video. I was in the middle of making another video, by the way, and I said, no, I wanted to make a manifestation video today. The other video was going to be about trusting your intuition. So I'll make that tomorrow unless my intuition tells me to do something different. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. Always remember, the best is yet to come. And I'll see you tomorrow talking about intuition, or I'll see you on the next video, which you should be able to find here. And the option to subscribe, and make sure you don't miss the intuition video or any other videos that I'm posting. And just continue working on your identity, because that's what we're doing every day. It's right here. I'll see you wherever you choose to see me next.